Viewers of this video, welcome back to ASTRONEER, where I have some explaining to do. First off, let's start with what happened at the end of last week's video. Um, the snail ate the last 4 to 6 minutes of the recording, which is why there was no outro and why it was so abrupt. I found out when OBS decided to simply just not respond to my inputs. However, I still kept going because the timer was still going, so I thought maybe it's fine and just not pausing. But no. Anyways, this is where we are now. We are back at base. I have a rocket ready to go with a bunch of stuff for going to another planet. I've got a full tractor trailer setup, 2 medium wind turbines, a small and medium printer, resin for a platform, 2 ceramic and an aluminum for a landing pad, and 2 pre-charged small batteries and zinc for another small battery. And I'm actually going to go ahead and do one thing real quick. Let's go into here, wide mod, and I am going to turn that zinc into a wide mod, and I'm going to get rid of the boost mod because I don't actually like the boost mod that much. I find that it doesn't really make that much of a difference, especially for how much power it consumes. Anyways, I'm also going to grab my QTRTG back off the tractor. Another thing, I went all the way over there for clay. See this little hole in the ground right here? Some of you might remember. This is clay. I went over there for nothing, and I only noticed this while I was coming back from up there after getting the thumbnail for, last week's video. So, yeah. I might be unobservant. Anyways, what I am going to do real quick before I go to another planet is I am going to make another storage, and I'm going to run around and just collect a whole bunch of small research items, because then I can just have those running in the chamber while I'm gone. And while they won't last forever, they will last a pretty decent amount of time. And then I can stick a medium in there to get things started, since, yeah. Okay, I will be back later, once I've gathered all of the stuff and things. Glad I checked this before gathering a whole bunch of stuff. The snail shells are worth 200, while those things are only worth about 60 in the chamber, so... time to go gather a bunch of these. Pro tip for people about to leave for their first space trip, I guess. Gather a bunch of these snail shells and have them ready to go through the research chamber while you're gone. Because this is going to be a lot of bytes. 200 each. 5 of them for 1,000 bytes, and I'm going to have a total of 16. That's pretty good. That's a good 3,200 bytes right there. Also, this thing, super useful. I'm getting it to the edge of the forest so that I know where it's at for when I need it, because I'm going to need it, and I'm going to need a few more of them. For now, though, it's just going to live right there, because I can't really do anything with it. Actually, hold on. Don't I have dynamite at the base? I think I have dynamite at the base. If I do, then I actually can do something with that. But I won't, because that would be a waste of a perfectly good dynamite, because I can open multiple of those at once with one dynamite, because I know how to do that. It's nothing special. You literally just place a bunch of the caches next to each other and blow up the dynamite in the middle. Yeah, it's not rocket science. Actually, while I'm collecting these shells, I can take the time to explain what I'm going to be doing with that rocket here in a minute. I will not be going to DeSolo first. You might think that that's the logical first choice, with it being second in line in planet difficulty, according to the Astropedia. However, it is not the logical first choice, at least not in my mind, because um, well, ever since the snails got added, I've found Calidor to be a much more lucrative experience than DeSolo. Um, for one reason specifically, and we'll get to that when we get to it. But let's just say that the Calidor snail is a little bit better than the DeSolo snail in terms of long-term use. So yeah, that's kind of the whole reason. There is also the side little thing of while DeSolo has zinc, which is great for batteries, Silva also has zinc, and well, okay, I guess DeSolo does also have tungsten, but I don't know. Calidor does have the snail, but I do also want tungsten, um, partially for main progression, but also because I can use it to make a big ol' power plant. Because we have this thing in the game called the Tapper, and there's a lot of plants that if you put it on, it will just make infinite organic that can be collected automatically. Thrown through a furnace, and then thrown onto a generator. And one tapper, even on just one of these trees, can actually run multiple generators. So it's a fairly good idea to get that set up, because it's basically just an RTG but bigger and looks cooler, and also needs a lot more setup. But it's well, kind of. No, it's objectively cheaper. What am I saying? Not to mention how early in the game you can do it compared to RTGs. I do kind of wish that research chambers would automatically open up packaged research items. Because you can package up the medium research items. And that makes it a lot easier to collect a large number of them, but you still have to unpackage them manually before you can use them in the research chamber. How are there no... Okay, there we go. Jeez. This is what I've been looking for. Just a medium research item. Okay, here we are. This goes on there. And then these go on the sides here. Okay. Where did the rest of the resin go? Oh, I know where. Pick these up, that, and then 1, 2, 3. And yep, still got that selected. Okay. So now, after I dump my soil in here, because I don't need to take that with me, I should be ready to go. I got my little QTRTG on here for that stuff. And then when I get there, I can claim this mission, and that'll get me a little bit more basic power. So yeah, off to... Do I want to bring a beacon? I probably should bring a beacon. I'm going to leave a canister behind, because I don't need 2 if I'm not going to have a soil centrifuge. Technically, I don't need 2 to begin with, even with a soil centrifuge, but it's a lot more convenient. Anyways, I have beacon, I have everything else. Let's go to Calidor. I've waited long enough. Everything's going wrong. I will be back. So, there's a thing I was supposed to do. Can you see what I didn't do? Good thing I had that soil. Thruster prepared. Button pressed. Okay, now let's go to Calidor. For real this time. Hope that we can get a cool landing spot. One of the other nice things I like about Calidor is there's a couple places that make really cool mega base locations if you know how to work them. To be fair, all of the planets have locations like that, but Calidor has a pretty good one. It's these red spots. Little Sarlacc pit looking areas. They're pretty cool. Oh, there's that thing too. Maybe I should land there, because those are always nice to set up at. I'm gonna do some orbiting. We'll be back. Okay. I'm looking at that. And I'm looking at that. I'm not really seeing any other contenders right now. Alright. We're gonna land here. I'm gonna walk myself over to that platform. Or not. I've just spotted a better location to be. Okay. It's not often that you get to land right next to one of these without knowing where they are. Like there's plenty of salvage in the area too, so this should be a pretty decent place to set up. No, I didn't... that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to pick up the rocket and put it on the ground. Okay. Let's do a little bit of cleanup. And by cleanup, I mean killing this plant. Because it wants to kill me, and that's no good. Thankfully, those are mutant seeds, and those plants won't actually harm me. Alright, let's get things going. So, I want to... Actually, I want to use that platform, because this thing has slots that I can use, and that can be powered. Come on. Let me have this. Can I not? Okay. Fine. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. This can come off of here. This can come off of here. And that can come off of there. We've got a nice little solar panel as well, so that's pretty cool. So, I seem to have forgotten a couple things. I seem to have forgotten the aluminum for the landing pad and the beacon. We'll be right back. I don't normally waste this many thrusters just going to the first planet. But I decided to make an exception today because I had an idea of how I wanted things to go. And that involved, you know, having all of this stuff. The aluminum being a very crucial part of that. The beacon I could have done without, but the aluminum, I really wanted the aluminum. But anyways, we're here now, so let's set up these wind turbines. And then I will go ahead and slot these batteries to these locations. And then I want this printer right here. Go ahead and put the small one down as well. And then this printer will start on a platform. And then I am going to take these and drop on down, and we're going to set up the tractor. In part because it's a great source of oxygen, but also because I want to use it so I can go get some compound. So I want to get a landing pad printing as soon as possible, and for that I need a large printer. Oh hey, tungsten and ceramic. That's nice. Alright. There's that. I see compound over there. And that's why I like the wide mod. Get a large printer started. There we go. And I'll bring this down here. Usually there is a little bit of solid terrain under these, like what's under the starting shelter, but I don't know, sometimes this happens. It's weird. Which means I need to make my own flat terrain, preferably on this level. And that's usually not such an easy thing to do. At least not with the tools that I currently have available to me. I could unlock the alignment tool right now. And then just use that, because I do have the zinc to make one. But I'd also rather not have to do that. this looks like it might be pretty good. You know what? I think that's close enough to call good. We'll run with that. Let's make a bit of an extension to this that I can use for building a base with. I have buried the tractor. Let's get this out of the way. There we go. That should be a bit better. Let's see if I can align this decently. Like this. That good? Looks pretty good to me. Okay. We will have that there. We'll put this here. And then we'll move these down here, because I kind of want to save this thing for power stuff. Just because it looks cool. Let's go ahead and get the landing pad printing. And then I'll be able to really get to work on stuff. Because I'll have the mission log to guide me. And by guide me, I mean give me the thing for the Calidor snail. Whose name I know, and I'm just not saying. Because we'll get there. All in good time. Right, that mission exists. Let's just do that real quick. And there we go. Mission complete. Still really wish that I could properly integrate these landing pads with these wrecked spaceports, or at least repair these wrecked spaceports so that they have a mission log on them. Because, yeah, that's the one annoying thing about doing this. Is now I've got 2 valid places for the rocket to land, so I gotta remember to collapse this before I leave. Because this is really just here for the mission log, and nothing else. Okay. 3,500 bytes, and then we'll claim this. There we go. And now I have a spare thruster here that I could have used this entire time, but chose not to. Well, that's not... Well, okay, it's kind of true. I could have claimed it on Silva, but I didn't really want to. This QTRTG is going to stay right there. Actually, no, that one's going to stay on my terrain tool. I still kind of need a replacement one for my terrain tool. All this stuff can stick here, and then the beacon can go right there. That's not the right color. There we go. Okay. And then field shelter. This will get hooked up. Here, we'll put it around the back. Why not? Make a little spot for it. There we go. And that does that mission now. And I'll go ahead and put the beacon right there. Sure, why not? Alright, what do we've got in the mission log? We've got those missions that I could collect, but I don't really want to. Let's see here. Refined tungsten from wolframite. Okay. So I guess the main thing is just kind of the snails and then tungsten stuff. So, might as well get to work on that. First, though, I do want to get a little bit of a base going, so let's collect some of this resin and make a few more platforms. Okay, and with the platforms done, let's get a research chamber started. And then now I'm going to need more resin and compound. I also want to make a smelter, and then I made that other platform for a soil centrifuge once I go do some mining. Because I'm also going to want to have a centrifuge on this planet. Probably not going to use it too much for right now, but it will be useful later on in future times that I come to this planet. I'll leave all the resin here. Ammonium's kind of nice to have too, but nothing I can really do with it at the moment. I gotta get the compound. What I can also do I can drop this QTRTG right here and plug it into that. By the time I'm done mining compound, that'll be open, and I can take whatever research thing is inside of it. Perfect. I like to call these bite bins. They look like bins, and they give a lot of bites. Now, real quick, there's another giant thing of wreckage. Not this way. It's the other way. There's a big old thing of wreckage that way, and I want to go check it out. And then, of course, there's the space wreck right there that I still need to loot, but I'll come back to that. Big old base wrecks like these usually have batteries. Yep, there's a small one in there, and then there was another one on the platform behind it. That's pretty cool. Nothing else that's really all that special here, though. That's unfortunate. Hey, look! Wolframite. I need that. I will check out... I will go get that Wolframite soon, but I wanted to come back. Because I want medium storages, so that I can go get a whole bunch of that at once. I wasn't expecting to find one in here, but it's a nice surprise. Because that means that's one less that I have to craft. Oh! Oh, I see. Well then. Another 2 small batteries and dynamite. That's handy. So, smelter can go right there. And then this can go right there. And then these batteries can go up there. I'll go ahead and just leave this one on the front of the tractor for right now, because I don't know what else to do with it. And then this dynamite can slot right there for now, so that I don't accidentally activate it. Because that's a thing I've done before, and it's not fun at all. Whoa, hello. So, this is right next to that wreck, and the wolframite I was about to mine. That's a small battery. That's a medium solar panel. That's a small solar panel. And that's a large solar panel. That's functional. That's a pretty cool find. I'm gonna run this back to base real quick. And there we go. That'll slot right up there. Believe it or not, that doesn't actually do a whole lot for me at the moment. Just because you don't have the battery capacity to take that kind of power at the moment, but at least I'll never run out of power during the day. So there's that. Yeah. I think what I'm going to have to do, though, is I'm going to have to make another platform for power stuff. I can do that while the wolframite is smelting. I'm going to need the drill mod on for this. Oh yeah, this isn't going to take that long. At least it wouldn't. If that was an actually reasonable sized deposit, which it wasn't. Good thing I still have that deposit, which I'm just going to make a quick little bridge to. This one's probably got a decent amount in it. Hopefully, maybe. We'll see. First, I gotta empty out my backpack. I do kind of wish there was a way to get more slots. It would be a little bit handy at times. I don't know. It would also be pretty game-breaking. Inventory management is kind of the whole big thing with this game, you know? There is a lot here. I definitely don't have storage for all that, nor do I want to mine all of that right now. This is already more than what I needed. So, let's head back to base with this. Alright. This goes there. You know, I didn't think this platform set up all the way through. One moment. There we go. Problem solved. And then this one can come over here. There we go. This goes over here, and that's that mission done. Okay, what do I get for that again? Ah, right, the medium generator schematic. For free! Alright. Chemistry lab, and... Aha! See, that's something that I like to see. Okay. That's also going to be for another episode entirely, but probably not next episode. Next episode's probably going to be focused on working on the main base. For now, though, I am going to empty out my bag again. And then this solar panel can go... there, I guess. I don't know. And then I want to find a good spot to get into the caves from. For no particular reason. I think I might have found a spot. Okay, there's this way. Oh yeah, this way works. This way works. Just gotta get out and make this way a little bit more tractor friendly, you know? And do a little bit of this. That's probably good enough. Hopefully, maybe. We'll see. And then do this. Flatten things out here. Okay, cool. And this right here is why I need to come down here. Because this is where the snail shells are. Wow, that's a lot for the little mineral bits here. Okay, then. Wonder how much the shells are going to be worth in the research chamber. The shells on Calidor aren't really all that worth collecting for research, just because of how uncommon they are, and the fact that you have to go down to the caves to get them, but it's still a thing that you can do. Scan all of those, and then scan these, and then I'll take that one back with me to check in the chamber. Alright, let's go ahead and take this off of here real quick, just so that the other thing doesn't immediately get ripped on. 300 bytes. Okay, yeah, so that's definitely not worth it. But I am still going to leave that there, because I have space for it. In fact, actually, you know what I should do is take that off and let the shell go first. There we go. Okay, now I need to print another platform. I need to gather one more piece of resin. Can I have stuff in range, please? Thank you. There we go. Okay, and then I can start printing a platform. And then I can put some of the power stuff on that, because I want to save this one for the centrifuge. Speaking of which, I actually want a little bit more resin, so that I can have a couple more medium storages, because I need to go get laterite. Because otherwise I won't be able to make that centrifuge, and I kind of want to have that centrifuge done for today. And that's, looking at time, that's probably going to be the last thing we do for today. 3, I need one more resin. Come on. There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to plant these again. And then I will start printing one of these. And then this platform can go, actually, I know where this platform can go. Let's make a little bit more space right here. And this is where that platform will go. Just because it seems like a nice little spot to put it. Come on. There we go. Okay, and then I can put... This doesn't clip, does it? No, that definitely clips once it starts spinning. Let's just move this out a little bit. Yeah, there we go. That works. And then I can put both the medium turbines, not turbines, solar panels up there. This panel goes there, and then I already took the one off the tractor. Where'd that go? There was one that was here when I landed, and then there was the other one that I picked up. Where did the one that was on the tractor go? I've looked at it 3 different times, that's where. Okay, that goes up there, and then another medium storage. And then I'll be back once I find some laterite. Actually, another thing that I need to do, let's claim that real quick. What does this need? It needs... I need to check the mission log for it. I wish they would put that stuff in the description of the terrarium. Soil, copper. Of course it needs copper. Okay then. Well, that is... Okay, I'm gonna have to keep an eye out for that while I'm getting laterite. Though, I actually already know where there's some copper. I saw it while I was getting the snail shells. Huh. Well, that's convenient. I'll come back up here and mine that in just a minute. First, I want to go down here so I can get that copper, because I see copper over there, and I need that copper for copper purposes. Oh, never mind. We're scanning copper right here. Okay, cool. That is so convenient. Unbelievably so. What's gonna go wrong in the next 10 minutes? Because obviously something horrible is gonna go wrong in the next 10 minutes if I'm having this much luck, right? That's just how things work. I'm gonna back the tractor up before I dig it into a pit with the laterite. I kind of gotta dig, like, right around here or something. Yeah. Oh, that's what's gonna go wrong. This isn't actually a laterite deposit. It's just that one tiny little piece for some reason. Okay, that's fine. I'll just find more. Yeah. Can't be that hard. Ooh, I think I see some. Over there. I don't know if you saw it before I turned my camera, but I know I saw it. And that's what matters here, is that I saw it. Because if you see it, it doesn't matter, because I don't know until later. And that doesn't help me right now. Just gotta get over there. Shouldn't be too bad. Just flatten out a bunch of terrain to a nice little path. Go through here. Yep, laterite. Awesome. That's exactly what I needed. Ooh, and there's a bunch of salvage. Cool. Getting those real quick. Okay, I gotta get the tractor before I suffocate. That would not be ideal. Alright, first things first, I'm gonna pick through the salvage real quick. Anything good? Carbon, power cells. I really don't care about power cells. Laterite that I don't have to mine, copper that I don't have to refine. That's just carbon. Laterite that I don't have to mine. Okay then. Nothing too terribly interesting. I'm just gonna dump all this off right here. And then these go on to this. And my drill goes into this ground. And I get rich. And just like that, I have a whole bunch of laterite on the tractor, a little bit in my bag. I got some copper. We are ready to roll. I could grab one of those cubes for research, but I'm going to leave them there for now. For reasons that we'll get to for those of you who don't know. I also need a seed from one of these. Give me that. Now we go back to base. Well, that's just insulting. This cave entrance is right next to the other one I've been using. Alright, these go to the smelter. And then this terrarium gets copper, soil, and wheezeweed seed. There we go. And then I want that aluminum. And there's already 2 compound on there. Awesome. Soil centrifuge. And then I'll just dump all this on the ground real quick. Hello, Stilgar. My old friend, my old buddy, my old pal. Notice how I'm about to suffocate? Well, let me just pick up one of these. This is why we love Stilgar. Stilgar is the snail that gives you oxygen. As long as you keep him fed, that is. Standard seeds, like that one, last for about 15 minutes. These ones, though, these ones are his favorite. These ones last for 30 minutes each. And because you can store one on the terrarium, you get an hour. And that's pretty cool. So, now I have free oxygen just indefinitely, so long as I keep them fed. Which means we are pretty much done here for now. So, I'll load up that tungsten, and then I'll bring back more on my bag as well. Yeah, that'll be for next time though. For next time, because we're running a little bit late here. But we got everything done on Calidor that I wanted to get done in one video, which was unexpected. I could probably split this into two, but I won't, because then I have to make another intro and outro and stitch that mess together, and I don't want to do that because that's a retroactive intro and outro. Anyways, hope y'all enjoyed. Like and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Bye!